In Kung Fu Panda, Po and Shifu both teach each other something. Po teaches Shifu that you can't train every student the same way. And Shifu teaches Po, yo, look at all the amazing things you can do when you're properly motivated. Now we know they had a rocky start because Oogway named Po the new Dragon Warrior, and Shifu was like, well, fuck? Him? This guy? Upon their first meeting, Po and Shifu did not hit it off at all. Po was over here breaking ancient artifacts and Shifu was just fucking disgusted. He's like, you're supposed to be the Dragon Warrior. Let me tell you something. You're not the Dragon Warrior until you can find the contents of that scroll. You think I'm just gonna hand it to you? Nah, you got to train for this shit. And it looks like clearly you haven't trained a day in your life. He's breaking Po down because he is not in shape. He's fat. My man is just body shaming Po. Po's like, hey, chill out. Now you say my hygiene bad? Chill, man. Po is about to tell Shifu that Oogway said, man, Shifu ain't trying to hear that shit. He grabs Po's hand and puts him in the whooshy finger hold, and Po recognizes it immediately. Po is all the way shook, and Shifu says, oh, you know what this is? He's like, yeah, I know what that is. He's like, oh, you know what I can do with this? I know what you can do with that. Shifu then tells Po, yo, Oogway might have picked you, but when I'm through with you, you're gonna wish he hadn't. And Shifu is true to his word. He asks Po to show him what he can do, and Po can't even do shit against a practice dummy, or where they practice for that matter. Po was entirely out of his own comfort zone and depth here. And when Shifu gets everybody ready for practice the next morning, he sees that Po is gone and he is ecstatic. They're walking up to the training grounds and they're like, all right, we gotta trust that the Dragon Warrior will appear and show themselves when we truly need them. From now on, we just gonna do what we do. He opens the door and he sees Po there trying to do a split. And he's like, what the hell? And it shows Po might not be the best student, but he's trying. He was there before anybody the night before, trying to do a split. And Shifu tells him, you thought you could learn how to do a split overnight. It takes years strengthening up your flexibility to do it and even longer to know when to apply it, as he shows Tigra doing a demonstration when to apply that in combat. Po's like, oh shit. And you see him trying to get a souvenir of one of the stones from that Tigress just broke. And Shifu's like, nah, ain't no souvenirs here. Only souvenirs you get are broken bones and bloody knuckles. Po hears that and he's like, yeah, I'm with it. And throughout the entire day, we see him taking on each master and getting his ass whooped. But Po does not stop. He keeps coming back for more. He keeps standing back up. The Furious Five are putting furious hands on Po, but he's with it. He's trying to learn. He's still ecstatic. He's still here for the long haul. And Shifu is, he then realizes, you know what? I've been going easy on you. Your next opponent is going to be me. And Po's like, awesome, amazing. Shifu tells Panda to step forth and he grabs him and just b-boys him all the way around. He turned Po into a breakdancer, slams him on the ground, gets him in a wrist lock, and is telling him the true path to victory is to find your opponent's weakness and make him suffer. And Po is ecstatic, even though he's tapping out like, okay. And Shifu's like, oh my God, this guy. And Shifu works this boy down to a point where he's kicking him in the chin repeatedly, throwing him around, telling him, yeah, you're doing this until you get your opponent to quit or give up. But all Po is hearing is how a real warrior doesn't quit. And he's assuring Shifu, don't worry, master, I will never quit. Shifu then literally kicks him out down the stairs and is saying he'd be wise not to return. But everybody knows Po is going to return. It isn't until later that Po is getting the inkling feeling that Shifu doesn't want him around. And that's when Tigress tells him about his former student, Tai Lung, who had gone bad. Po heard the story a little bit, but she tells him that Shifu was the one that trained him, found him, and Tai Lung's turn toward the dark side is what changed Shifu as well. And later on, when Po is joking around with the Furious Five and they see how good of a cook he is, a noodle happens to stay on his face and makes him look like Shifu, and he's fooling around, and then Shifu comes in like, yo, y'all doing jokes? Y'all out here joking and shit? Tai Lung has escaped from prison. Y'all motherfuckers out here having tea parties and shit? Shit is getting real right now, and our only hope to stop him is the Dragon Warrior. Keep in mind, Shifu had this whole discussion with Oogway about the choice of Po for Dragon Warrior. And Oogway's basically telling him, hey man, believe, bro. Also, I'm dying. I'm out. Good luck with everything. And now Shifu is trying to have that fate and Po telling him that, yo, it's on you. Po's like, no, hold on. Oogway can stop him. He already did it before. Shifu tells him, Oogway's not around to do that now. It all lies on you. Shifu is taking Oogway's words to heart, and Tigress is like, yo, you want the pet? Let us go defeat him. And he's telling her, no, it's not y'all's destiny to do this. It's his. But Po's gone. Po has dipped. He is running, screaming. Shifu cuts him off and is like, yo, you can't leave. A real warrior never quits. Po tells him, dude, watch me! Po is trying to escape again, but Shifu won't let him, and Po tells him, how am I supposed to beat Tai Lung? I can't even beat you to the stairs. Shifu's telling him, yo, you're gonna do it because you're the Dragon Warrior. Po tells him, yo, you don't even believe that. Po's telling Shifu, I know since I've been here, you've been trying to get rid of me. Shifu tells him, yeah, I was trying to do that, but now I'm asking you to trust in your master as I have trusted in mine. Po tells him, you're not my master, and I'm not the Dragon Warrior. Then Shifu asks him, okay, then why didn't you quit? Po tells him, because every time you threw a brick in my head or made fun of me, it didn't hurt more than every day I spent being me. Po then tells Shifu, I stayed because I thought the one person that could change me, that could make me not me, was you, the greatest kung fu teacher in all of China. And Shifu tells Po, I can change you into the Dragon Warrior, and I will. Po says, all right, come on. How? Tai Lung is on his way to whoop all our asses right now. And even if it takes him 100 years to get here, how are you going to change this into the Dragon Warrior? How? And Po keeps asking Shifu, how? Po keeps asking, and Shifu does not have an answer. He's looking around for it. Then Po says out loud again, how? And Shifu says, I don't know. Shifu has no idea what to do. And Po tells him, that's what I thought. We then see Shifu the next day looking for Po. He's at the training center. He doesn't see him. He's looking around. Then he hears him in the place where they keep the snacks. And he sees Po, and he's busted through everything in order to get all these different snacks. Shifu is confused at first, then looks around, and he's amazed that Po did all this damage. Shifu looks back at Po. Po's like, what? I eat when I'm upset, all right? And Shifu's like, no, that's cool. I thought you might have been Monkey. He keeps his almond cookies on the top of the shelf. Shifu leaves. Po hears that, and my man works his way up to the shelf to eat the almond cookies. Shifu comes back, saw all that, and he's like, are you serious? Po's just like, yes. Also, don't tell Monkey. Shifu's like, yo, look at you. Po's like, I get it. I disgust you. I know. He's like, no. Look at you. How did you do this? And he's like, I don't know. I just wanted the cookie. He's like, yeah, you're 10 feet off the ground doing a perfect split. Po says, nah, this is just an accident. And Shifu tells him, there are no accidents. Come with me. And we then see Shifu and Po on this long, kind of grueling journey. It's agonizing. And then they finally reach their destination. And Po's like, yo, you dragged me all the way out here for a bath, man? And he starts to wash himself. And Shifu tells him, hey, we don't bathe in the pool of sacred tears. Po's like, what? And Shifu tells them, this is where Master Oogway unlocked the mysteries of harmony and focus. This is the birthplace of Kung Fu. Po is amazed, looking around, and he sees this is the place where Master Oogway was out here fucking getting busy. Yeah, that Taurus was whipping that fucking work. Then Shifu jumps up and stands in the same place that Master Oogway once stood and asks Po, do you want to learn Kung Fu? Po says, yeah. Then Shifu declares, then I am your master. Po nods, saying, okay. And you can see the emotion over Po's face now because Shifu has finally and truly accepted him as his newest student. He then tells Po, ain't no crying here. Shifu then tells Po, yo, when you concentrate on Kung Fu, when you really concentrate, you suck. But that's on me. I can't train you the way I trained the 5. I now see that the motivation to get through to you is this. And he takes out some dumplings. Po's like, oh, thank God, man, I'm fucking famished. And he goes to reach for a dumpling and Shifu tells him, good. When you are trained, you can eat. Shifu is using food as a motivator for Po to get him to work out. He gives Po food to eat. Po's like, oh, cool. He's attacking him. And Po's like, what the hell is this? And he breaks the food so that it crumbles all down because he can't eat. Because he ain't trained yet. We then see Shifu having Po try to grab food from him and testing his speed. Po ain't up to par yet, and you look at Shifu and you see his face, and dude's actually having fun for once. He's having Po try and eat his dinner while doing push-ups over an open, hot, coal fire. Having this boy up here balancing on mountains while balancing his food. And then we see Po trying to sneak out and get some food while he thinks Shifu's asleep. Nah, he ain't asleep. Shifu gives him the fucking business. But we see Po able to hold hold his own just a little bit more here, finally, but it's still not enough to beat Shifu. As Shifu then drinks the stew that Po was trying to steal, and Po is just like, you know what? My man kicks the staff that Shifu's balancing on, and Shifu just Rodney Mullen flip kicks it to hit Po. But the training is paying off. Po is more powerful. His form and technique have improved. Shifu's using the staff to attack him, and Po is able to block and counter these different attacks. And now he's able to even take on Shifu a little bit. They're sparring, and then we see that Po has found his own style of Kung Fu. It looks to be that Po is finally trained. And Shifu tells him, you may eat. Po is kind of confused. He's like, wait. That's it? No more sit-ups, no more push-ups, no more other shit you have me doing? Shifu tells him, I vowed to train you, and you have been trained. You're free to eat. Po is still weary, but he's like, all right. He sits down, grabs his chopsticks, goes to eat a dumpling, tries to put it in his mouth, then it's gone. Po's like, yo! And we see Shifu just, well, go ahead and eat. Po is looking at Shifu, and Shifu says, go ahead, have a dumpling. Po goes for a dumpling. Shifu kicks it out of his hand, grabs out the air, and eats it. And Po's like, yo! Po looks at Shifu, and Shifu tells him again, you are free to eat. Po's like, am I? Shifu tells him, are you? Yeah, it's student versus master right now. And Po's like, all right. Let me change the battlefield. My man hits all the dumplings into the air, but that doesn't work because Shifu is ready. My man jumps in the air, eats every single dumpling but one. Po tries to jump up and get it, but Shifu is too fast. He grabs it out the air right before Po can eat it. Shifu's about to eat it. Po gets the chopsticks, breaks it out from his grasp. It lands in a bowl. Now they're fighting each other over trying to get the dumpling with just their chopsticks. This is so smart and technical. Shifu is moving the dumpling to different places within the bowl. Po is trying to get the dumpling, but he keeps getting blocked. Not just by Shifu changing directions on the dumpling, but by Shifu utilizing the bowl as well as the angles to hold the bowl at. We then see Shifu cover the dumpling, and Po's looking at him, and then Shifu then plays a little game of mix-up, speeding the dumpling around faster and faster among all these different fake bowls, and Po is watching, nails it down, uncovers the bowl, sees the dumpling inside, is like, whoa, but they're still back to fighting. Po is trying to play Shifu's game right here, but he keeps getting beaten back anytime he gets a little advantage or gets a little leverage. Po can't outwork Shifu with these chopsticks, so he changes the environment, flips the dumpling out of the bowl, kicks it up into the air. Shifu sends a chopstick through it so it gets nailed into a tree, runs up Po trying to get to the dumpling. Po grabs his ankle with the chopsticks and brings him back down to ground. Meanwhile, the dumpling is slowly falling from the chopstick that has been nailed to in the tree. Shifu kicks away Po's hand, gets him, flips him over, but Po lands this time. Po then tries to flip Shifu. Shifu lands. He goes underneath Po, making him fall onto his back. Po sees the dumpling falling. My man does a Booker T spin-a-rooley windmill back up to his feet, pushes Shifu out the way, tries to eat the dumpling, but Shifu uses his chopsticks to kick Po in the chin, close his mouth as the dumpling bounces off Po's face and onto Shifu, but Po bounces it back up into the air, goes to sweep Shifu. Shifu jumps and kicks the dumpling away. Po goes after it, locked in, and we see Shifu watching Po, smiling as he runs after him. Shifu is having fun and the time of his life as he grabs a staff, basically just goes Rodney Mullen in the air with the tricks to get this dumpling. He flips over Po, lifts that shit back up, then I think runs along the bamboo stick while it's still in air to land in front of Po, all while attacking Po, but Po is blocking each one of these shots. This is a really good contrast between the two because Po is big and now powerful, and Shifu is smaller but still powerful. His agility is insane. It's a big panda versus a little red panda, but Shifu is still outclassing Po for the moment because Shifu is attacking Po, but Po is countering and meeting him at each step. Literally, as he is using the staff to get some kicks off on Po, but Po is meeting him each step. Po goes for the sweep again and knocks the bamboo staff that Shifu is on down a little bit. Shifu jumps over him, comes up top with the bamboo staff. Po is anticipating it though. Blocks the staff, puts it down, steps on top of it. Shifu is holding onto it. He can't move. Po springs off of that into the air, knocks the dumpling off his belly. Shifu is beneath Po, looking up, amazed and proud. Po lands, catches the dumpling with his chopsticks, turns to see Shifu's look of approval, telling him, go ahead and eat. And Po throws the dumpling back into Shifu's hand. Shifu looks at him, and Po simply says, not hungry, master. Oh, such a beautiful sign of respect, and that he no longer needs the food motivation. He sees his own abilities now. Shifu has showed him that within himself. Now, Po's finally ready to step to Tai Lung.